Nestled deep within a forgotten forest lies Ravenswood Manor, an old estate that time has all but erased from memory. Once a grand home, its crumbling walls and broken windows now stand as a testament to the horrors that occurred there. The locals speak of it in hushed tones, sharing tales of those who dared to enter and were never seen again. But for one group of thrill-seekers, the manor was an irresistible challenge. Our story begins with 5 college friends, Maya, David, Jess, Marcus, and Tyler, who shared a fascination with the supernatural. On a crisp October night, they gathered around a campfire, the flames flickering against the darkening sky, as David recounted the legend of Ravenswood Manor. Built in the 1800s by the eccentric Lord Arthur Ravenswood, the manor was a place of luxury and excess, David began, his voice low and ominous. But Lord Ravenswood was a man obsessed with the occult, and it said he performed dark rituals in the manor's secret basement. After his death, strange things began happening. Servants disappeared, and eventually, the house was abandoned. They say his spirit still haunts the halls, waiting for the next soul to claim. Intrigued by the story and eager for an adventure, the group decided to visit the manor the following weekend. Despite the warnings from locals, they were confident they could handle whatever haunted Ravenswood. When Saturday arrived, the group set out on their journey. The path to Ravenswood was overgrown and treacherous, winding through dense, twisted trees that seemed to close in around them as they ventured deeper into the forest. The sun was setting as they finally caught sight of the manor, its silhouette dark and foreboding against the dusky sky. The manor was in worse shape than they had imagined. Ivy covered much of the stone exterior, and what had once been an elegant garden was now nothing more than a tangled mess of thorns and weeds. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decay. As they approached, the wind picked up, howling through the broken windows like a mournful cry. "Are we really doing this?" Jess asked, her voice wavering as she stared up at the imposing structure. "Come on, it's just an old house," Tyler said, though even he couldn't hide the unease in his voice. "We'll check it out, maybe snap some photos and be back at the car before midnight." With that, they pushed open the creaking front door and stepped inside. The interior was dark, the only light coming from their flashlights as they swept the beams across the foyer. Dust covered every surface, and cobwebs hung in thick curtains from the ceiling. The air was stale and cold, and every step they took echoed eerily through the empty house. The group decided to split up to cover more ground, with Maya and David heading upstairs while Jess, Marcus, and Tyler explored the ground floor. Maya and David climbed the grand staircase, their flashlights revealing faded portraits on the walls, somber faces that seemed to watch their every move. They reached the second floor, where the hallway stretched out before them, lined with closed doors. "Which one should we try first?" Maya whispered, her voice barely audible in the oppressive silence. David pointed to the door at the end of the hall, which was slightly ajar. "Let's start there." As they approached, the door creaked open further, as if inviting them in. The room beyond was a library, the walls lined with shelves of old, rotting books. In the center of the room stood a large wooden desk, its surface covered in dust and old papers. Maya moved toward the desk, drawn to an open book that lay on top. The pages were filled with strange symbols and handwriting that looked like it had been scrawled in a frenzy. "This must be Lord Ravenswood's journal," Maya said, carefully turning the brittle pages. "Look at this, he was definitely involved in some dark stuff." David shined his flashlight over her shoulder, reading the unsettling entries. Rituals, sacrifices. This guy was unhinged. As they delved deeper into the journal, the temperature in the room seemed to drop. and they both felt a sudden, intense pressure in their chests, as though the air itself had turned hostile. "Do you feel that?" Maya asked, her voice trembling. David nodded, backing away from the desk. "We need to get out of here." Meanwhile, on the ground floor, Jess, Marcus, and Tyler found themselves in the dining room. A massive, dust-covered table dominated the space, surrounded by high-backed chairs. An old chandelier hung precariously from the ceiling, its crystals glinting faintly in the dim light. The room felt eerily preserved, as if the last meal had been interrupted, the guests leaving in a hurry. "This place is seriously creepy," Marcus muttered as he ran his hand along the back of a chair, disturbing a cloud of dust, like prison cells. As they walk down the corridor, they hear faint whispers as if voices are coming from the walls themselves. Emma tries to rationalize it. Perhaps it's just the wind seeping through the cracks in the old building. But the voices grow louder, more distinct, until they can hear words. "Help me. Let me out. I'm still here." They reach the end of the hall, where a large double door stands slightly open. Inside, they find a recreation room, with old furniture scattered about and a piano in the corner, covered in a thick layer of dust. As they step inside, the temperature drops dramatically, and their breath fogs in the air. Suddenly, the piano begins to play on its own, a haunting melody that echoes through the room. The keys move as if an invisible force is pressing them, the sound growing louder, more frantic. Tom and Emma back away, but the door slams shut behind them, trapping them inside. Desperate, Tom tries to force the door open while Emma screams for help, but their voices seem to be swallowed by the room. The melody shifts, becoming discordant, the notes clashing in a cacophony of sound that rattles through their bones. Just as they begin to lose hope, the door flies open, and they stumble out into the hallway, the music abruptly ceasing. Terrified, the four friends finally reunite in the main lobby, all shaken by their experiences. They decide to leave immediately, but as they make their way to the exit, they find it blocked by a figure standing in the shadows. It's tall, with elongated limbs and a face obscured by darkness. The figure doesn't move, just watches them with an intensity that chills them to the core. Summoning all their courage, they make a break for the side entrance, bursting out into the cold night air. They don't stop running until they reach the safety of their car, hearts pounding, gasping for breath. As they drive away, the image of the figure lingers in their minds, a silent reminder of the horrors they witnessed. In the days that follow, the friends are haunted by nightmares and strange occurrences. Doors in their homes creak open on their own. Shadows move where they shouldn't, and the faint sound of children laughing can be heard in the dead of night. It becomes clear that something has followed them from Briarwood, something dark and vengeful. They decide to return to the asylum, hoping to find a way to break whatever curse they've unleashed. Armed with knowledge from Old Town records and a growing desperation, they step back into the place that nearly claimed their lives. But this time, the asylum is ready for them. The doors slam shut behind them, and the darkness closes in. The hospital seems to come alive, its walls shifting, trapping them in an endless maze of terror. Briarwood Asylum was abandoned for a reason, its malevolent spirits left to rot in the shadows. And now, the friends are about to learn that some places should never be disturbed, that some secrets are best left forgotten. As the night deepens and the horrors within the asylum awaken, one question remains. Will they ever escape? Or will they become just another whisper in the dark, lost forever in the halls of Briarwood? So, dear viewers, remember, not all places that lie abandoned are empty. The next time you find yourself drawn to the thrill of the unknown, think twice before stepping into the darkness. Some doors once opened can never be closed again.